What if the very words on your screen are secretly telling him who you really are and it's nothing like you think? Picture this, you send a simple hey and you're left waiting, wondering why he didn't bite. You've done it before, heck, we all have. You replay every letter, every emoji, looking for the hidden clue. But here's the twist, the secret isn't in what you say, it's in how he hears you. In the next moments, I'll show you the one surprising shift in your texting that flips his whole view from casual chat to genuine chase. Stay with me because the real power in your messages is about to be exposed. You'll never text the same way again. Let me say this, the texting tips that matter the most, they don't come from playing games. They come from knowing your worth before you even hit send. See, when you're a high-value woman, your words aren't just letters on a screen. They're a reflection of how you see yourself, to believe you deserve, and whether you realize it or not. Every emoji, I was just checking in, that's either affirming your power or leaking it. I'm not here to tell you what to say. I'm here to show you who you are when you're saying it. You text like a queen, not by accident, but by alignment. I learned something early on. People who respect you the most are the ones who have to earn access to you. And texting, that's one of the first places people either gain or lose that access. And I know what some of you are thinking, but what if I wait too long to reply? Won't he lose interest? Let me flip that for you. What if your quick reply is teaching him he's already won you before he's even shown up for you? What if the real problem isn't his interest, but how easily you're giving your attention away? This is where the real shift happens. When you realize that silence can speak louder than a paragraph. When you understand that a delayed reply isn't disrespect, it's discernment. And no, I'm not telling you to ghost people. That's not power. That's avoidance. What I'm saying is, a high-value woman knows that her presence is a gift. Her time is precious. Her energy sacred. And when she texts like someone who knows exactly what she brings to the table, even if she's the one who built the damn table. You know what separates low value from high value texting? One thing: intent. Texting psychology says people feel what's behind your words more than the words themselves. If you're reaching out because you're afraid of being forgotten, that shows. If you're responding out of insecurity, that bleeds through. But if you're speaking from a place of fullness, not fear, the difference is magnetic. It's not what you say, it's how you mean it. So before you type anything else, I want you to ask yourself, am I texting from a place of lack or a place of power? Because when you change that one thing, everything shifts. And listen, I got more for you. Some insights that most people overlook. They're subtle, invisible even, but they're the difference between chasing and attracting. And if you stick with me through this video, you'll see exactly why texting like a high-value woman isn't a gimmick, it's a mindset. Let me break something down that most people never even think about. The texting conversation doesn't start when you press send. It starts with what's going in your head before you even unlock the screen. You ever notice how your energy changes depending on what you're expecting back? Like if you're hoping he'll respond fast, say something sweet, validate you, your heartbeat's already running before the message even hits his phone. That right there, that's not a text. That's a test of your identity. A high-value woman doesn't seek reassurance in someone else's reply. She brings her own certainty into the conversation. That's the key difference. That's the mindset shift. Most people are out here texting to feel seen, feel wanted, feel enough. But a woman who's centered in her worth, she's not texting to get something, she's texting to share something. Now, I know that sounds simple, but let's go deeper. See, texting is modern-day energy exchange. Every message you send is you giving a piece of your time, your thoughts, your vibe. If that energy is coming from a place of anxiety, fear, or scarcity, guess what? That's what gets picked up on the other side. He may not say it, but he feels it. You ever get a message from someone and you instantly feel pressure? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. People respond more to energy than to words. And women who've mastered this, women who understand texting psychology, they don't flood the chat. They don't need to send 3 follow spoons, a meme, and a hey ye just checking in to feel connected. They understand the silence between messages. They respect the delay. They hold their power in the pause. Because guess what? A man who's genuinely interested doesn't need a reminder. He needs space to pursue, to step into his role, to earn your consistency. See, there's a fear I see all the time. It goes like this: if I don't text him, he'll forget about me. Let me hit you with this: if someone forgets about you because you stopped reaching out first, they never valued you to begin with. That's not chemistry. That's convenience. And you're not built for convenience. You're built for connection. And connection, real connection, requires boundaries. I was talking to a friend once. She was spiraling after a guy stopped texting her back. And I asked her, why are you more focused on the man who ghosted you than the woman who stayed? She said, what woman? I said, you just stayed. You showed up. You believe, and you're still here, heart open. That moment changed her because she realized she was loyal to someone who wasn't loyal to her, but even worse, she was disloyal to herself. Texting tips from high-value women and don't come from tricks. They come from truth. Like this one: if a man's inconsistency makes you feel unsure, your job isn't to decode his behavior. Your job is to protect your peace. You're not here to translate mixed signals. You're here to be met in clarity. And listen, this part is gonna challenge some of y'all, but it's gotta be said. You don't have to entertain someone just because they finally texted back. Late energy is not better than no. And you owe no one your availability just because they showed up after hours. Because what you allow teaches people how to treat you. And how you respond or don't is the blueprint you hand them. The most powerful messages aren't loud. They're quiet, controlled, intentional. Like, no worries, I've been busy too. Or, I'm not interested in casual conversations that go nowhere. Take care. That's not petty. That's peace. You want a man to see your value. Show him you've already seen it with or without him. Because here's the truth: the version of you who waits for him to reply isn't the version of you that's walking in her power. That's the version of you still doubting what she deserves. But when you decide to become a woman who knows her value, your phone becomes a tool, not a trap. Now let me give you something extra: small shift with big impact. Delay your replies by 10 minutes, not to play games, but to check in with yourself. Ask, do I want to respond from reaction or reflection? That one habit will keep you from spiraling. That one habit will center you. That one habit will separate you from the crowd. Because while most people are chasing attention, you're cultivating attraction. And that, my friend, changes everything. When you reach the middle of a conversation, energy is shifting. And this is where most people lose their power. Texting psychology teaches that people feel more than they read, and the emotional undercurrent of your words will carry further than any clever line. A high-value woman understands that every message she sends after the first exchange is a declaration of her boundaries, of her priorities, and of her self-respect. I remember working with a client named Rosa who was frustrated because her messages always felt one-sided. She would send paragraph-long updates, and mixed signals came back as short replies. We reframed her approach with simple texting tips from abundance rather than need. She began to share small glimpses of her day as if she was inviting him into her world rather than demanding he enter hers. The shift was immediate. He began to respond with genuine interest, and he matched the length of her messages. That is the power of texting like a Hallelujah woman. Another example comes from a successful executive I know who rarely uses her phone for personal conversations, or when she does, she texts like she is running a board meeting. She sends clear, concise messages that reflect her schedule and her energy. If he isn't arrested, he will rise to the occasion, and if he is not, she protects her peace without drama. Relationship egg face off and misses this point by encouraging more attention to prove you care when real care is proven by respect for yourself. Midway through any texting exchange, the content becomes less important than the cadence and the emotional tone. Are you texting to fill a void or to invite connection? Do your messages leak anxiety, or do they radiate confidence? Texting is not a contest of wit, but an dance of energy and emotion. A high-value woman moves through that dance with intention. Let us compare this to how a close friend of mine named DeMarcus texts his team at work. He does not bombard them with messages to prove his leadership. He sets clear expectations and follows up only when necessary. His confidence in his own vision commands respect, and his team responds with loyalty. You can apply the same principle in romantic exchanges. You set the pace, you set the boundaries, and you communicate with clarity. By the 50% mark of this video, you are already well on your way to rewriting your texting story. You have seen how your mindset before you pick up the phone matters just as much as the words you choose. You have begun to understand that texting psychology is less about tricks and more about truth. The truth that you are worthy of respect, of curiosity, and of genuine connection. In the next section, we will explore advanced texting strategies that high-value women use to maintain intrigue without playing game. You will learn how to elevate a simple good morning into a memorable moment, and how to transform a routine check-in into an opportunity for deeper emotional bond. Stay focused on your energy, stay aligned with your worth, and watch how everything shifts around you. When you move past the first impressions and the initial back and forth, your texting becomes a vessel for deeper emotional resonance. A high-value woman knows that a single well-placed question or thoughtful reflection can open doors that generic small talk never could. She uses texting psychology to mirror the vibe of her partner while gently guiding the energy toward meaningful exchange. This is not about playing games. It is about crafting moments of authenticity. Texting tips tell you to send funny memes and sweet good mornings. But the real magic happens when you send a message that touches an emotional chord or invites a shared memory. You are no longer just texting. You are weaving connection into every line you send. Imagine you are sipping coffee with a close friend and you recall a memory that made you smile. You send that memory through a text and you paint a vivid picture. He can almost taste the coffee. He can almost feel the sunlight. That level of detail requires presence and intention. It demonstrates relationship advice in action. When you learn how to text men in this way, you transcend the mundane and inspire genuine engagement. I worked with a woman named Jade who was seen a talented musician. Instead of asking him what he was up to, she sent him a snippet of lyrics that reminded her of him and a note about how it made her feel. His eyes lit up in the next message, and he responded with something creative and unexpected. That is the power of texting like a high-value woman and embraces both creativity and heartfelt expression. As we approach the fine elect, the strategies become more refined. You will learn how to maintain intrigue by varying your messaging rhythm and balancing emotional depth with playful banter. You will discover how to signal availability without sacrificing mystery. In the next and final section, you will see how to tie every insight together and conclude with a compelling conclusion, inclusion, and call to action. Stay focused on your inner confidence. Keep using these texting tips and embrace the role of curator of your own story. The best is yet to come as we prepare to unlock the last insights in texting psychology that seal attraction and respect. In this final section, we bring together every insight on texting psychology and relationship advice to create a seamless experience that feels both genuine and magnetic. Every text you send from here on reflects the high-value woman you have become. You move with intention, you communicate with confidence, and you honor your own time and energy in every message. You have learned to open with power, to maintain intrigue, to set boundaries, and to deepen connection through vivid details and emotional resonance. Now you learn to close the loop by reinforcing respect and attraction in your final exchanges. A simple message that acknowledges shared moments or expresses gratitude can leave a lasting impression that outshines any long-winded apology or overly clever lie. Remember to vary your message length to match the flow of the conversation, and to use thoughtful pauses to let anticipation build. When you send that last message of the day, let it feel like a promise of more good things to come rather than a sign-off that leaves the story unfinished. That is the subtle art of high-value texting, and it sets you apart in a world of breadcrumbs and mixed signals. As you apply these advanced texting tips, keep your focus on connection over consumption and on quality over quantity. Let every message be a reflection of your self-respect and your genuine interest in the other person. Texts like you deserve the best, and you will attract the best. Before you go, watch next video 7, Secret Phrases Men Say When Really in Love. We are Wisdom Recorder. Subscribe and like for more content.